Today is the 95th day of the Trump administration. We are coming up on that 100-day mark this coming Wednesday, April 30th. But 95 days in, and already the American public hates literally every single thing that Donald Trump is doing. Multiple polls have come out this week showing that Donald Trump now has an underwater approval rating on every single issue. Now, this, of course, is something that I touched upon yesterday, but I want to go a little bit deeper into it because this is really important. The fact that this man hasn't even hit 100 days yet, and when he came into office, almost every issue he had an above water approval rating, meaning more people approved of what he could do than disapproved. But in 95 days, all of those advantages that Donald Trump and the Republican Party had are gone. They have completely disappeared. The public has lost faith with the entire Republican Party, starting at the top with Donald Trump. I will get more into the numbers in just a moment, but first, a quick word from today's video sponsor. First, Elon Musk gutted federal agencies. Then he slashed public services. Now, his people are fighting to keep their corruption under wraps. But a federal judge ruled Musk's alleged Department of Government efficiency is not exempt from open records laws. Judge Christopher Cooper made it clear that the Trump administration completely failed to argue against the fact that DOJ is acting with massive unchecked power. Ground News analyzed dozens of sources covering this from across the political spectrum. And comparing coverage, you'll see how some spin this as a partisan issue while others call it what it is, proof of corruption. Same story, different spin, and exactly why you can't blindly trust the first headline you see without knowing the biases behind them. That's why I've been relying on my partners at Ground News for a long time. If you like my show, you'll love how their app and website lets you compare coverage with context on each source's political bias, credibility, and financial incentives. This way, you're not just taking one source's word for what's happening, you're seeing past the layers of selective reporting shaping your worldview. Billionaires and political agendas are controlling more and more of our media, deciding what they want us to see and think. Ground News, on the other hand, it's independent, it's nonpartisan, and only committed to helping us think critically about the stories shaping everything from public opinion to public policy. And since I can't track everything Trump and Musk are doing or undoing alone, I've curated feeds that track them for me from credible sources to make sure I'm giving you all the most reliable information. And now you can too, for nearly half the price. Go to ground.news/Farron to get the same unlimited access Vantage plan that I use for just $5 a month. Take back control of how you stay informed today. The link is in the video description. So here are the numbers that show you just how bad Donald Trump is doing, again, on every single issue, including his signature issue of immigration. On the issue of immigration, according to the latest Reuters Ipsos poll, Donald Trump is underwater by only 1 point, so technically within the margin of error, but 48% disapprove of his handling of the issue of immigration and 47% approve. Now, up until this week, that was the one singular issue where Donald Trump still had a positive approval rating. You know, they hated what he was doing on the economy. They hated what he was doing with tariffs. They hated everything about his policies, but they still liked him on immigration. But it turns out wrongfully deporting people, then defying a Supreme Court order to bring them back, doesn't actually sit well with the American public. In fact, a separate poll came out this week showing that less than a third of the public thinks that Kilmar Abrego Garcia is even a member of MS-13. So the public is not buying the lies of this administration, and that is important. That's why I wanted to go deeper on this issue, because it's not just what the numbers are, it's what they mean. The public is no longer buying his lies on immigration. They're no longer buying their lies on waste, fraud, and abuse throughout the government. They're not even buying the lies that this man they wrongfully deported is a gang member. That tells you that the mood of the public has in fact shifted. And not just against Donald Trump, it's shifted against the entire Republican Party, polls have shown us this week. But here's other numbers here. 48% disapprove of his performance regarding the rule of law. That kind of seems important. 49% disapprove of his performance on the environment. 51% disapprove of his handling of the economy. 52% disapprove of his performance on international trade. And a whopping 57% disapprove of his performance on the cost of living. All of those represent either majorities or pluralities of the American public, and yes, Donald Trump is underwater on every single one of those, as his approval rating on every one of those issues is far below the disapproval rating. In fact, on the issue of the economy, only 37% of the public actually approve of what he's doing. Only 37% approve. As much as people didn't like the Biden economy, he never hit numbers that bad. Certainly not within the first 95 days, right? Even conservatives and libertarians have been speaking out. From the Libertarian Cato Institute, Scott Lincecum said this: "There's a big risk for Trump that it's only going to get worse from here." Now, it doesn't take Nostradamus to tell us that, oh, things could get worse. We know they're going to get worse because he's not changing course. He's doubling down on all the horrible things that he's done so far. Yeah, things are going to keep getting bad. And you know what I love? Republicans have been telling us ever since Mitt Romney ran for president in 2012 that we should run the government like a business. And I've always disagreed with that, but I think there actually is one thing from the business world that we should actually apply to the federal government. Most businesses, when you get hired, you are on some form of, a 90-day probation. And typically it is about 90 days. Some places it's 60, some places it's 180, but 90 seems to be the standard for most businesses. During that time, if you screw up, you're gone. You also have to prove to the company that during that 90 days, you know what you're doing, you have value, you're not messing up, you're a good person, they should make you permanent. You also don't get any benefits during that period. And if you can't hack it after 90 days, you're gone. All right, well, Trump's had 95 days. And if we were, in fact, running the government like a business, he'd be fired. Right? I mean, maybe we should institute that. Maybe we should give these people a 90-day probationary window where after 90 days we say, look, you know what? We get it. We appreciate your time. Unfortunately, we're going to go in a different direction. And we just rehold the election, right? Like, that kind of seems like a fun idea. I know, obviously, constitutionally, we couldn't do it, but it's been 95 days. He has destroyed everything he's touched. He's got J.D. Vance traveling around the world cursing everyone he comes in contact with. This administration is an unmitigated disaster, the likes of which we have never seen in such a short period of time. Thanks for watching today, everybody. And don't forget, if you're not already, please do subscribe to this channel. We have fresh content going up every single day, and I would really hate for you to miss out on that. And speaking of missing out, if you're not following me across all other social media outlets, then get on it. You can follow the links in the description of this video.